Let me acknowledge the owners of this land that we are on, the Motuko Tabuans. Let me acknowledge the Defense Mari Barracks that we are on. Let me acknowledge the team, clearly the very brilliant team that has put this work together. There's a lot of thinking, quite clearly, that has gone into it, and a lot of effort, and a lot of planning. So I think they deserve our thanks, and they deserve our acknowledgement of that intellectual capacity that has gone into preparation of this work. And having been mentioned is Mr. William Hapa from Gamboko, who is taken part in the work. And that is important, the work. All the statistics that have been presented to us, the importance of it is that you cannot actually plan forward unless you have baseline data to work from. That will determine your priorities, your spending, but also it gives your work that integrity. If you're going to partner with somebody, the first thing they're going to ask about is your data, your statistics. How did you get there? And but let me go back to leadership. A lot of things have been said about leadership, and Alfred Rungon has left, has just talked about it again. In Balwan, when I was growing up, I lived on Balwan for 12 years after I finished primary school and then left. But in those 12 years, I saw leadership. He made sure we had a school. He made sure we had the Balwan local government. The Balwan local government was the first local government in Papua New Guinea. The Hanwabada one was the second one. And the Manus local government was established much later. But the Balwan local government was the first local government established in Papua New Guinea. So that was leadership. He made sure that we had an education. So most of the, I think, southern part of Manus, a lot of them were coming to Balwan for education. And the islands as well, to the west. When I was in primary school in Balwan, not one child in any village on Balwan or any family on Balwan was out of school. It was universal education, if we want to call it that. Up to age 13, everyone was in school up to grade 6. What happened after that, not sure about. But it was universal education. Now the statistics before us, as John said, is very concerning. But it is also, not only is it concerning, but it gives the opportunity for what to look at later on, and what to pursue, and what to push for, and what to make preparations for. So it's leadership, as you say. So after Paliamanwat went very, very clearly, the island went askew, off course. It was not on course anymore, it went off course. A lot of things fell out. I know when I was young, all the adult families, they were told to, all the families come together and do agricultural projects, things like that. Plant peanuts, plant rice, plant cocoa, and those were happening in family unit. So that, I think, stopped somewhere along the line. So I would like to think that what you have all put together here, you brilliant people of Balwan, will close that gap. It's not a 30-year gap, John, it's not a 40-year gap, it's a 60-year gap. I will tell you how old I am, but it's a 60-year gap. It's a 60-year gap. Very, very clearly, leadership has not been there on Balwan. So I hope that what you have put together here will fill that gap and take things forward. You've got your basics here, you've got your statistics. As you say, they're concerning, but they are the way to guide you. Where to go next? How do we prioritize? How do we get, you want to talk in partnership, how do you push the interest to partners to assist, to come and assist. Even in the provincial government, we have a system already in place. I think we have wards. Every ward has a, what's a ward leader called? Ward councillor. And then we have a president. There is no reason why we cannot work with the provincial government in place. There is a system, a process to work with them. This is very good what you have done because it's what's called bottom-up planning. You are starting from the bottom up. It is your own initiative. Government will want to assist because you have started, simply because you have started, because you have begun the plan, because you have your statistics in order. The government will want to assist. The thing that needs to be done is to get all the ward councillors together to agree to it. I'm talking now about the provincial government system. If you want them to partner, and they must partner. That is their job. You elect these people in, the government is in place, that is their job to partner. They do have money, just about passed the budget now, there's money for these things. We have to organize at the ward level. You get your proposals. Unfortunately, Manus is only one district, right? It's only one district which has so many local, yes. So competition for money is very, very stiff. Because whatever projects you think Balwan can apply for money for, the president has to determine projects from Balwan, Law and PAM, which he thinks are the priorities to take to the provincial government in Lorena. And then when he gets it there, the provincial government will have to determine out of all the 12 districts or something, it's quite a lot of many districts. So what you have to do, you have to put together the best projects. You have statistics here. There's no reason why you cannot argue or you cannot defend the thinking behind project proposals. There's absolutely no reason. You've got all the ammunition already in this book. So that's the government system. It is there, the money is there. It's like, who here would know about it? 40 million every year. Of course, when that money is not used, it comes back to Wagana. But the money is there. It has to be applied for. Just like Alfred Rumol was saying, we have to apply for that money. And you are saying in your own proposals here, climate change, cleaning of the ocean, and these things, that money can become useful to us. There's no reason why, and he's very right. At times we have to benchmark ourselves with countries in our own region. And he's saying that Fiji is already accessing these funds. Who else is accessing these funds? Why aren't we accessing those funds? Why aren't we? We know from Balwan itself, I was last there in 2014. When I went back in September this year, I can see the coastline is being cut in. All the water has come in considerably. We've lost a lot of land already, and we're going to continue to do that. You were talking, your statistics here talked about density of the way we live, high density, pay houses over land and all that. It's not only that density is becoming a problem, the shrinking of the land space will become a problem as well. And we're seeing it ourselves, that all yep, the first yep, there's only one half a coconut tree sticking out in the ocean. There's no reason why Balwan will not come under similar challenge and risk. So I think there's a lot of work that you've put together here. I'm so happy that in your constitution you've got human development as your first pillar. And human development is also the first pillar in the National 2050 vision. Why? Because we need an educated population. You talk about literacy rates. And yes, we can be happy that we have a high literacy rate, but it's not high enough. I'm sorry, my children. We've got what, 58? I am ambassador to Zimbabwe. We think of Africans as kind of a little bit, they have like almost 100% literacy rate. They're in a mess economically, but they have about 100% literacy rate. Mary Hunden and I lived in Tonga, and we know that in Tonga, literacy rate is about 100%. We need to also benchmark ourselves with neighboring countries in our own region and a larger region in Southeast Asia, in order to see the gap between us and anyone else, and in order to try to bridge that gap. We can't do it on our own. We have to, even within PNG, we need to benchmark ourselves with Niwale and our neighbors, with CIPIC, our neighbors. Where are they? We've got some very interesting statistics here. Start to see that, and then we will see the gaps. It's the gaps that need to be closed. It's always the gaps. But you've got good basics here, and I'm so happy that you've got integral human development as the first pillar. Papua New Guinea on the whole actually needs to be educated, and we are lagging very far behind if you compare ourselves to all the other countries of this world. We really are. Talking about economic initiatives, there are a lot of things going on. Mary Hunden, we were talking about, that was doing something. And Felix Kosovac is here somewhere, he's already begun some initiatives. So there are things that can be done. We have the best soil probably in Manus Island. I'm not quite sure, but it's a volcanic soil. It's a very thin topsoil, but it's rich. And we can grow anything. And interestingly enough, when I was there in 2014, Baluan people were sending pineapple, pawpaw, watermelon to Longroom when the asylum program was still there in Longroom. And I said to Kevin Kello one day, I said, are you planting pawpaw? And he said, no idea, all birds are dropping yet. Meaning we're not, I mean, there is that market. The market exists, but we're not growing. And Baluan can grow all those things, watermelon, pineapple. Done it before. Our grandparents and parents were doing it, and we have that very, very rich soil. But it is sad that we are not seeing the opportunity. And you've put in here some doorways to opportunities that will take people through those doorways. So that is, I commend you very much for that. You talk about gender equality as well, and I think some of us, we were growing up at the time when gender was not that much of, you just have to get through school and get out, people do something. But Papua New Guinea is also known as a country where gender inequality is quite a concerning matter when you look at us across the world. So we need to correct this. Look at our parliament. Up until we got 2 women into parliament, Papua New Guinea was one of the only 4 countries in the entire world with no women in parliament. Now it's come to 2 because Vanuatu has just got 1 woman into parliament. So there are statistics around the world that allow us to compare ourselves and see where we are and try to close that gap. You talk about water, sewage, latrines and all this over the sea. My colleague from Britain, who is here, the High Commissioner of the United Kingdom, said to me one day, maybe last week or the week before, said, I want to come and see your island. I said, I'm not from Manus, I'm actually from another island. He said, yeah, I want to come and see that island. The first thing that came to my mind was toilet. If he wants to go to the toilet, what do I do? That sort of thing. So I'm it's good that we are addressing this as well. Tourism, Mary Hunden has just come back from quite a lot of countries that I represented us to. Egypt is one, Israel is another. I didn't make it to Jordan. Those areas. Tourism. Papua New Guinea has a lot of barriers keeping people out of the country. It is really amazing because actually we need tourist dollars in the country. But if we can make Balwan, as you were saying, if Mary can take a group of women there, expose themselves to our way of life, to our island, it's quite possible that, you know, she can bring more at other times because it is that, not only our reputation, but that dollar that we need inside in Balwan. And you talk about, I mean, Alfred Bungor has talked about climate change. We really need to put importance on climate change. The Commonwealth also has established a training institution in Mauritius. It's to train people, it's to train countries to know how to access this money. Alfred was talking about $100 million, which is parked in Korea right now, that is for us to access. We're not accessing, but we need to be trained on how to access that money. And all these assistance are already there. So there's a lot of things here, and I just want to say that, you know, I am really so proud about the work that has been done, and especially it's a Balwan homegrown work. So I'm really proud of that we can do these things. Oh, Emma is sitting over there. She's a businesswoman as well. She used to have a ship. Yeah, that was running, yeah, that sort of thing. It can be done. It can be done. We can do it. I was telling Cecilia this morning, I was a pig farmer in Tonga. I was actually a pig farmer. I don't know, Mary, maybe you call later, but I was a pig farmer. And sent my older daughter to private school in Sydney on profit of that big tiny little pig farm. So pigs, we grow pigs in. Always use pigs in one line. What are you? Things like that. It can be done. These things can be done. So I hope and I think that what we have put together here is a basis and a basic and starting point of what can be done. It can be done. That's all that I can say. It can be done. It just needs someone to take us forward. And you're doing it now. That leadership that we were looking for, I think it is here now. I think that leadership now, so thank you for providing this leadership, and let's see how we go